Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. The carnage continues. Bitcoin is now 17,000, even lower than last night when I was streaming about this whole nonsense. And things have gotten worse. And Sam Bankman-Fried, our favorite crypto exchange operator, now deletes his tweet about FTX user holdings and FTX assets being safe. He secretly deletes that, but people are paying attention. So what does that mean exactly? And what else is going on in the world of Bitcoin and crypto right now? Let's get started. So welcome, guys, to another market open stream. But these days, less markets, more crypto, because, man, we got rocked. We got absolutely rocked by this saga, this nonsense, this shenanigans, whatever you want to call it. But Bitcoin and crypto absolutely down. Right now, Bitcoin's at 17.5. The not the U.S. market, entire crypto market cap is now at 870 billion. We were just to put things in perspective, we were just above 1 trillion. Okay, just 2 days ago. We have fallen almost 20% within 2 days. That is no good, my friends. No good at all. What's also not good is SBF. Just days ago, when we were still at $2 trillion, $1 trillion, a competitor is trying to go after us with false rumors. FTX is fine. Assets are fine. Then he followed up with that. FTX has enough to cover all client holdings. Okay, that's important right there. We don't invest client assets, even in treasuries. I think he deleted these tweets because he's about to get sued. He's about to get sued for the $1 billion he has left, because he publicly stated right before everything started collapsing that they have enough to cover everything, right? 1-to-1 payout. He said it. We have enough 1-to-1. No one has to worry about it. Withdrawals are just slowed down, but it's going to come. Not only that, right? Not only that, everything's safe. Well, things aren't so safe. FTT token has tanked even more to like $4 now, I think. Solana is following. Solana is going to take a beating, and you guys just have to get ready for it. And I'm going to explain why, because Solana is going to dump even harder in the next day or so. But yeah, that's the latest. So I'm assuming that FTX is not fine at this point. And assets are not fine. And client holdings are not fine. So, just a week ago, a lot of people thought SBF and FTX was the savior of Voyager, right? Voyager is obviously not good, but people thought, hey, we're being saved from FTX. Now, they need to be saved by Binance. Will Binance even go through with it? Because Binance is doing fact-checking or due diligence right now. And if it turns out they've been lying all along and their balance sheet is horrible, Binance is not going to come to the rescue, and everything's just going to collapse. And that's horrible. That's the last thing we need right now in November and in 2022. Now, of course, people are digging who is actually exposed by this FTX collapse. Well, Galaxy Digital, which is also a big name in the space, they revealed they have $77 million. Okay? Unfortunately, they were trying to withdraw. They were trying to withdraw $47.5 million, and it was in that halted withdrawal, right? Until it was stopped. There's no withdrawals coming out. So Galaxy Digital will be hurt by $77 million. I like to think that they have way more in the bank, so this really means nothing to them because they hold billions of or hundreds of millions of Bitcoin. So hopefully this is not going to affect them much. But it's not just them. Crypto.com, just like Brian Armstrong from Coinbase, yesterday, Crypto.com tweeted out how you don't have to worry about them. They're doing just fine. But they do have $10 million of their own capital deposited there for customers' trade execution. I didn't know that. So some of the trades that happens on Crypto.com was actually just being passed on to FTX, right? But don't worry, our global revenue surpassed $1 billion. That's revenue. That's not profit, okay? And what about that $10 million? Are they going to be able to cover that? So, I mean, it's... even though this is supposed to be reassuring, I don't know, there's some questions that I have. And also he says, we maintain 1-to-1 reserves, so don't worry about it. But that's what Sam Bankman-Fried said also, right before he deleted his tweet. So, anyways, I'm not trying to scare you guys with Crypto.com or Coinbase or anyone else, or even Binance for that matter. Just be careful with your own crypto. Learn how to safeguard your own crypto. Learn how to store it and control the private key so you don't have to worry about anything, okay? Other than the price maybe going down and volatility, but at least you don't have to worry about not being able to withdraw. So, be careful. Now, I mentioned about, not yet. And one other thing, this is looking at, you know, all the projects that invested in FTX over the years. This is very early on. Very early on. So you could see Binance being one of the very first investors. But if you could scroll in there, you see October in 2021, you see like BlackRock involved, Sequoia Capital. I mean, these are big companies, right? Tiger Global, SoftBank a couple of times. But one thing to know right here, July 21st, you see it very little. It says Circle. Circle, who is the creator of USDC, they invested in them. Although Circle came out recently and said, no, we don't have any exposure to them. I don't know if that's 100% true, but they are an early investor. Even Van Eyck is an early investor. So you could see FTX is very, very, very invested by a ton of VCs. That's why a lot of people stayed away from Solana due to that fact that they were very invested by a ton of these big institutions, right? But the big one that most people had a problem with is BlackRock. BlackRock took a huge stake in FTX early on. But anyways, I don't think BlackRock has to worry about FTX's collapse. I don't think a lot of these companies really care. I don't think Binance cares, obviously, because they're buying them or trying to buy them. But, you know, I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. I think there's others. These are companies that invested in FTX. What about the companies FTX invested in? What about FTT token being used in DeFi and used in liquidity pools, right? Those are all going to be rocked. And I have not checked like how many liquidity pools in like Serum and others that just started embracing FTT. Like those would be absolutely rocked right now. And I don't even know how encompassing that is. But I think we'll find out as the days continue. All right, now I did mention about Solana. RedX, that's true. Matic is holding very well. I told you guys that. But as for Solana getting rocked, it's going to get more rocked. And here's why. Because if you stake Solana, you can't withdraw until the next epoch. Okay? And that next epoch, guess what? Is coming in about a day. Okay? I think it's a little bit less than a day. So you have $330 million worth of SOL right now that's waiting to be unlocked in this next epoch. And why do you think it's such a large amount right now? Because everyone is panicking about Solana and everyone's trying to sell it. But unfortunately, when you deposit, when you stake in the network, you got to realize that not everything allows instantaneous unlock. Sometimes you have to wait for the next epoch. It could be up to 21 days. Sometimes it could be up to 30 days Luna, people didn't know that. To unlock Luna took 30 days. So while it was collapsing, there was nothing you could do about selling it. So it could be up to 30 days for unlock. For Sol, it's like 3 days because that's when each epoch happens. But yeah, there's 330 million waiting to hit the market in less than 24 hours. And you got to figure most people that are locking are not looking to hold it. Okay, if they were, they would keep it in staking mode. They're unlocking it because they're trying to panic sell. And Solana is down 34% right now. 34% in a single day. A single day, okay? That is absolutely horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. And it's down like 50% in the last 2 days or whatever it is. Yeah, 40-something percent. So Solana is going to get worse. I'm just going to warn you guys that when this unlocks, it's going to be a bloodbath, okay? So be ready for that. Can Solana overall, can Solana survive this? It's important to note that Solana is not a FTX chain. Even though they're very well invested by FTX, it's not a FTX chain. So they are their own entity and they are caught in the crossfires right now. And FTX still holds about $1 billion worth of Solana. And some of that may be unlocked too, right? So in the meantime, I think Solana's going to get absolutely wrecked. It has been wrecked. It's going to get wrecked more. But can they survive this? I like to think so. But because of the bad press, they have been tarnished, I believe, forever now. And I don't know if they could establish that trust again. I'm just going to be honest there. Okay. But unfortunately, it's just a project that Sam Bankman-Fried loved and invested in them, saved them, really propped them up in 2021, even in 2022. But without that safety blanket now and with all the bad press, you know, it's all falling upon Solana right now, and it's just unfortunate. All right, now what else is there? Cardano founder Charles Hoskinson says FTX meltdown may be one of the last crises in crypto. I like to think so, and I'm hoping so too. Again, Charles Hoskinson, age 34, thinks that it may be bottom, one of the last ones that we deal with, okay? Hopefully, and he's referring to the likes of Terra, ITrustCapital, Celsius, Voyager, everyone, right? At least in this cycle, I truly do hope this is the last cycle of this nature. And to go on, it's just an example of excess that I repeatedly warned people about in 2021 and all throughout this year. In part, prior points of my point, like 2017 with ICO Mania, you don't get something for nothing in extremely high yield. It tends to evaporate very quickly. So I'm glad to see that Cardano, or at least Charles, not kicking Solana while it's down. All the Solana guys over the years, including the founders, try to point fingers at Cardano and say, "Hey, look at you guys. You don't ever do anything, right? You guys are just vaporware, trying to poke fun." But look at what's happening right now in reverse. This is what Charles is worried about, right? Even though Cardano may be slow, he's more worried about huge collapses like this. Again, though, to be fair, it's not really Solana's fault that FTX is collapsing. So, so it's kind of unfair to make that analogy, but it is what it is, and Cardano is still holding better than Solana right now. All right, so that's everything about FTX and how we got here. As for entire market, just it's a bloodbath right now. We're down to 17,000. Tons of liquidations, right? But the good thing is not as much as I expected. So if you look at liquidations, obviously yesterday when things were going down, there were a lot of long liquidations, a long squeeze over here. But since then, from last night to now, you can see, yeah, there's more liquidations, but not nearly as much as yesterday, right? But it goes both ways. There's red liquidations too, which means that shorts also got liquidated. So overall, everyone got liquidated. And the only people that made money from these liquidations are the exchanges. So again, I like to remind you guys that exchanges win when you get liquidated, okay? If you win or lose or draw, they win because they collect the fees from the liquidation. So be careful unless you are absolutely sure 100% you know what you're doing with leverage. You should not touch it, okay? I've warned you guys time and time again, unless you are absolutely certain you know what you're doing. Or you just want to gamble, okay? Maybe you don't want to play the lottery. You want to just swing trade or day trade, right? Because you think it's fun. You know, okay, but just be prepared. It could swing both ways really, really fast. But outside of that, 90% of professional investors believe market sell-off is good for crypto's future. I want to see what's defined as professional investor. I don't even know what that means. I guess people that's been in the space for a while, right? So is this good for crypto's future? Yeah, you could argue. You could argue weeding out the bad is good. Why wouldn't you not want to weed out the bad, right? But when you do that, short-term pain is definitely going to rock some boats. It always happens, right? You have collapses, short-term volatility is horrible, but then long-term, things get better, right? Because what you're left with are the good actors. But short-term absolutely sucks, and that is what we're facing right now. As for Bitcoin, though, Bitcoin is still Bitcoin. If you have lost faith in these exchanges, in these altcoin projects, in these leaders, right, that are giving you false hope, well, don't lose hope in Bitcoin. So there's still a lot of goodness. So here's one that's talking about the Wyckoff method, Wyckoff pattern, right? What the whales do to accumulate. It's looking very, very similar. You know, I would put some grain of salt on this chart, but I mean, it's looking almost identical, right? So this could be a giant game right now played by the whales to accumulate more, because I have shown you guys the whales are stocking up by the billions right now, by the billions. All right. Here's another one comparing us to 2018 in terms of down days. Interesting enough, identical now in terms of how long we've been down. Interesting. So is history repeating? And here's one comparing us to 2015 when we had a double bottom. So many people for this cycle have called, hey, we have to get a double bottom before we go up. I never really bought that. I don't think we must have one before we go up. But for people that's been waiting, hey, our double bottom came, right? So there you go. But of course, I mentioned in terms of whales with 10,000 Bitcoins, addresses going up. Yesterday I showed 1 Bitcoin, addresses going up. Even 0.1 Bitcoin still going up, right? More and more people are starting to understand all of the problems we've been having with inflation, with overprinting, right? With distrust in governments and banks, leading people into the space, into Bitcoin. Unfortunately, though, we have this FTX thing, but we were building real momentum in the last few weeks, and now we got upset, but we will get through it. Bitcoin survives all these nonsense and volatility. It always does. This is why I say don't give up on Bitcoin. All right. And then lastly, Binance tops their SAFU Fund at 1 billion. So this is their own private fund. Remember just yesterday I talked about how insurances, like Coinbase insurance, doesn't cover all of their assets. No one's insurance covers all their assets. They have insurance, but they don't have no insurance policy gives you like billions for coverage of all the assets that exchange holds. So CZ a long time ago decided to start their own fund where they put in their own money, right? Kind of like their own personal insurance, and they topped it off at $1 billion. So in case there's a hack or something like that, major price volatility, a bank run or something like that, but even though a bank run, if it happened to Binance, $1 billion is not going to be enough. It's mostly for like vulnerabilities like hacks and stuff. Binance has been hacked before, and they would always say we could pay out, no problem, right? It's really for that. But they decided to top it off in light of everything that's been happening, right? A little George effect happening, right? A little bit higher, 17.7. We really like to see Bitcoin break above this trend line, which we stuck above for weeks until yesterday. So we need to really get back up there. But there's definitely a lot of fear right now, a lot of panic selling. People don't know what to make of this, right? FBF now deleting his tweets. It's too late, though. The internet already captured it. So this could still be used in court of law, right? So at this point, him and the CEO of Alameda Research, Caroline, who openly bragged about how Alameda will buy all FTX at $22 million, right? Will probably be used against them in a court of law. So, but yeah, unfortunately, this is the situation we're in. Wow, 8,300 people today. Smash up the like, guys. Smash up the like. The more you smash it up, the more Bitcoin goes up. All right. Let's do some Q&A. All right, there's someone said there's a new tweet from CZ. This was posted 18 minutes ago. In the spirit of transparency, might as well share the actual note sent to all Binance team globally a few hours ago. Okay, I want to reiterate. We did not master plan this or anything related to it. It was less than 24 hours ago. SBF called me, and before that, I had very little knowledge of the internal state of things at FTX. I could do some mental calculations of revenue to guess theirs, but it would never be very accurate. I was surprised when he wanted to talk. Interesting. I was surprised. My first reaction was he wants to do an OTC deal, but here we are. As due diligence for the deal is ongoing, I want to remind you guys, do not trade FTT tokens. If you have a bag, you have a bag. Do not buy. Ooh, CZ is demanding that Binance employees do not sell their FTT tokens. As soon as I finished the call with SBF yesterday, I asked our team to stop selling as an organization. Yes, we have a bag, but that's okay. More importantly, we need to hold ourselves to a higher standard. Okay, so even though he said he was going to sell that $600 million, which is now probably like worth $200 million of FTT, they're not selling that anymore. 3, do not comment on a deal publicly or internally. If you are not directly involved, don't ask. Okay, 4, FTX is going down is not good for anyone in the industry. Yes. Do not view it as a win for us. User confidence severely shaken. That is 100% true. Regulators will scrutinize exchanges even more. That's 100% true. Licenses around the globe will be hard to get. That's 100% true. Those are unfortunate circumstances, but those are all true. Regulators are going to come down hard on exchanges now. And people think we are the biggest and attack us more. That's 100% true. And that's okay. And people now think we are the biggest. They are the biggest. But I think CZ enjoyed the fact that FTX was their name was so out there. So people were more focusing on FTX than Binance. But Binance is bigger by like 20-fold. Okay, we're used to being open and leaning into headwinds. In fact, we embrace scrutiny. We must significantly increase our transparency, proof of reserves, insurance funds, etc. A lot more to come in this area. We have a lot of tough work ahead of us, not to mention prices swing wildly. 5, speaking of prices, I've said many times over the years, ignore the price. prices. Let's keep our heads down, focus on building products people use. It has always worked over the years, and today is obvious no exception. Lastly, I want to say really proud of each one of you. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, CZ is telling his employees, don't be boastful, be humble, don't sell your FTT, and don't talk about this unless you are involved. That's basically what he's saying. Also, he's warning everyone to be on their toes because regulators will be knocking on Binance's doors and licenses will be harder to obtain, right? And this is around the world. And in the U.S. too. I bet U.S. regulators are going to be hammering Coinbase and Gemini and Kraken and Binance.us after this too. So there, that's the latest. That's the latest from CZ. Rick V, yesterday you mentioned KuCoin could indirectly get in trouble. Is that still the case? I don't know. I just noticed that there's a massive outflow of stablecoins from KuCoin, just like FTX. I don't know what that's about. But a lot of the metrics I've seen measuring stablecoin outflows, KuCoin is right behind FTX. I don't know the reason. I just noticed it. So hopefully they don't have exposure to FTX or FTT token. I don't know if KuCoin has FTT token or trading pairs. All right, let me scroll up here. People mentioned about CZ new tweet. I just read that. This is what you get when you try to lobby. Yeah, when you piss off too many people, this is what happens. And he pissed off the wrong person in terms of CZ. That's the one person he probably should not have pissed off, but he did. I trust Avalanche, but would like a second opinion. Do you think Avalanche is safe? I mean, define safe. I mean, in terms of volatility, no, it's not safe from volatility. Is it safe as a project? Yeah, I think they're still a great project. But, you know, Avalanche is being pulled down with everything else right now. Let's see. The Shaolin, congratulations and thank you. Dave says, been stacking cash since May. This meltdown is beautiful. Need to shake these bad players out. Looking forward to some great buys. Yeah, we got plenty of great buys right now. But yeah, these bad actors, I don't know. I don't know what to say. It just seems like we are finally over. Everyone that seemed like they were affected, you know, went under already. But this is just different. This is just different. This is just bad accounting. Bad accounting or maybe shady accounting or maybe illegal accounting. But this is what happens when you create a token and you use it as collateral. And then you use that collateral to borrow against and you use it to prop up your balance sheet to make it look better. And, you know, in a very fearful environment, people do not like that. They think it's a risk. And then, you know, you have bank runs that happen, right? So this is what happened. I think FTX was fine. I think they weren't hurt by the Luna collapse, 3 Arrows collapse. But who knows? There's some rumors about Alameda. Maybe they were hurt. That's why they needed a injection of FTT tokens from FTX, right? So basically, out of one pocket into another, right? Kind of like that kind of deal. Tom Brady invested $650 million in FTX. Did he really? If that's the case, he can't retire even after this year. He has to keep going. Hey, Storm Chasing Video says, hey, George, my friend has a webcam in Miami that overlooks the FTX arena. Looks like CZ got the arena naming rights. Wow, so they're gonna rename it to the Binance Arena. Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do about that naming rights, right? I bet arenas in the future is gonna be less inclined to sell to crypto companies now because of it. If Solana gets heavily rocked, what does that mean due to helium? Well, I think they're regretting the fact that they decided to move to Solana now. So I think a lot of projects, just like all the projects, unfortunately, that was on top of Luna, they all had to leave because it became a toxic place to be on, right? Unfortunately, Solana being caught in the crossfires, I think the same thing's going to happen. And I'm not trying to spread FUD about Solana, but it is what it is. FTX has had $1 billion in Solana tokens. And they're so invested with Solana, that bad name has tarnished them. And now you got 330 million waiting to be unlocked. That's going to hit in 24 hours. It's going to be absolutely wrecked. And people that ask me about my Solana bags that I should have sold 3 days ago or 2 days ago when this was happening, people were saying, oh, you know, what are you going to do with your bag? I'm like, I have a small bag, but it's significant. I'm going to hold it to see what happens. I'm still holding it, right? Turns out to be a bad mistake because it's down 50% in the last 3 days. So it hurts. It hurts a lot. But, you know, I'm still clinging on hope that Solana could get through it. But, you know, that hope is dwindling right now. FTT is so volatile that 25 leverage will get you instantly liquidated. Well, then it's like, you know, the old saying goes, you go to a doctor and you say, hey, my arm hurts when I poke it like this or move it like this. And the doctor says, well, then don't poke it. Don't move it. That's what it reminds me of. If you go get leverage instantly with 25 leverage, then don't touch it. Don't play with it. Oh, am I wrecked, bro? The last few days certainly wrecked me. But you know what? I'm a long-term holder. I know stuff like this happens. We just been through it, right? Just back in May, June, July, all the way till now, 6 months, right? 6 months on the grand scheme of things means nothing. Long-term means nothing. When in doubt, zoom out. Look at what Bitcoin has done or what Ethereum has done. Look at what any of these projects have done over the last 3, 4, 5 years, right? And you don't want to miss out on any of those bottoms, and then it goes parabolically up afterwards. You don't want to miss that. But by panic selling, you're selling to someone else that's basically essentially taking your future wealth away from you, your life-changing wealth, your financial freedom. You're selling it to others, and you especially don't want to sell it to the big whales that are already huge. That's why they're whales. You look at all the whale buys that's been happening, it's increasing. What whales do, what people that have been in a space, what they do is buy low when other people are panicking. So someone said about Tom Brady investment in FTX. I want to see, did Tom Brady really invest in FTX? I thought FTX just paid Tom Brady as a spokesperson. Yeah, FTX arena name goes in limbo. Oh, Tom Brady and Gazelle. Oh, Gazelle's not going to be very happy about that. I don't know how much, though. How much Tom Brady risked losing entire investment? How much did they buy? The X couple's net worth is estimated to be 650 million. Okay, that's not how much they put in, but they're close to $1 billion. I don't know. That's going to be split in half since they're getting divorced. But how much did they put? Hopefully they didn't put too much. I don't know. It doesn't say. I think it's undisclosed. Man, everyone's picking on Tom right now. You know, he'll just like everyone else, you know. Well, Tom is having a horrible year this year too. So, but he, like everyone else, you know, got caught in the FOMO, decided to invest in FTX, seemed like a sure bet, right? But we don't know. We don't know how much he invested. I think he'll be fine. Unless he like put 100 million in there, or they put 100 million in there, then that's not fine. Bruno, welcome. As old crypto users, I think mass adoption won't happen until it becomes easier to self-custody your own crypto. I think that's true. I think overall, as dApps develop over time, it's all about user convenience, right? And people won't even know that they're holding their own crypto. But dApps will make it so that it's easier and more friendly, and then people don't even need to worry about it. It just automatically happens. Dan, when do we find out more about CZ's deal with FTX, whether they go for it? Coinbase doesn't want to go near FTX, I'm sure. I mean, I don't know. It's not a good marketing play. I mean, it's good, but it's not done on purpose with the intent of not going, going through with it. Because that would make Binance look horrible, and you're crashing the entire market. Why would you want to do that? So I think they're legitimately looking at it, but whether or not they go through with it, we don't know. CZ said a couple of days for due diligence. One thing in life is certain, and that's Ben Simmons airballing layups. Oh, thanks for the laugh. FTX owns Ledger. Any impact? I don't believe that's true. I don't believe that's true, Machine of Time. I'm gonna dig, but I'm sure that's not true. Ledger is a French company, and I never heard of FTX buying them. Leprechaun, I appreciate it, and I agree with you. This sucks. Mark, appreciate it. What is good user-friendly wallet? CDC and CB. What are those? I don't even know what those are. You want a user-friendly mobile wallet? Go for the Trust Wallet. I've been using it for years. Trust Wallet is really easy. Just make sure you safeguard that recovery phrase, right? And you're golden. One thing to remember with self-custody wallets is you need to have gas fees. Okay, it's one thing that you don't think about when it comes to withdrawing, or staking really. You need to have some left in the wallet for gas, to pay for gas. If you don't, then it errors out, and a lot of people freak out. It's like, oh, why is it not moving, right? You just got to have enough gas fees. Tim, appreciate it. Really? FTX. Wait, FTX US. No. FTX US acquires Ledger X. This is a futures exchange, not Ledger, the hardware wallet maker. I'm like, I never heard of it. Okay, Ledger X is not the same as Ledger. Okay? So unless there's something else I've missed, but if you guys are referring to FTX.us acquiring Ledger X, this is not Ledger, the hardware maker. This is a derivatives exchange that happens to be called Ledger X. Okay, just to clarify. Tim asks, do you think BitBoy was right all along with SBF? I don't know everything that he said about SBF. I know he's not a fan of FTX. He's not a fan of SBF, but I don't know everything that he said. I can't say yes or no, but obviously he's been calling, this whole crypto bill that FTX or SBF been lobbying and trying to get pushed. It's bad for the industry. I totally agree with that. And that bill is, being taken away. No one's going to take it seriously anymore. FTX is the Fed printing money that has value to trust me, bro. It's all about perception, fake money, and not backing it. Yeah, because FTT wasn't used for anything. They don't have their own chain. I don't know what you did with FTT. Could you even stake it? I don't even know they had staking. Like, FTT was simply something they created to be used as collateral, I guess. Yeah, based on what you said. Basically, like what the Fed does. Like, trust me, it's going to hold its value. Papa Bears, appreciate it. Ryan, no problem. Yeah, I mean, that caught me off guard. I'm like, they acquire Ledger? I hope not, because that's my go-to hardware wallet. But no, this is not Ledger. This is a derivative exchange. And something else to keep in mind, that FTX.us is a separate entity of FTX. Even though they use the name, FTX.us is different. Although I don't think anyone's going to be using FTX.us anymore because everyone's probably really fearful. So most likely FTX.us will be renamed to something else. This is not going to be part of the acquisition by Binance if they go through with it. So this will be a separate entity. Although FTX.us might as well just sell to Binance, combine it to Binance.us, make the Binance.us exchange stronger. Because I don't know how they're going to operate after that, after this whole thing. CPI data does come out. I didn't even look at the U.S. markets. I have a couple of headlines, but today it's just not as nearly as important as what has transpired with FTX and Binance and SBF. But looking at today's markets, overall flat, a little bit in the red. I saw Meta is laying off 11,000 people. 11,000 people, which is only 13% of their staff, but quite a lot. Powell wants to see people go broke, wants to see companies lay people off, want to see unemployment go up and wages go down, right? Well, it's happening. It's happening. Mortgage demands flattens, and then I saw Elon. The reason why Tesla has been also so weak is because Tesla is selling shares after shares after shares, sells another 4 billion. This is the reason why Tesla has also been very, very down. My friend who's really big in Tesla, he laughed all the way to the bank in 2021 when Tesla, in 2021 when Tesla went up like 10x, right? And now has fallen like by 50 or 60% in a couple months. He's feeling how I'm feeling now. I'm like, welcome to my world, right? When Bitcoin could go down 70% and alts could go down 90%, I'm kind of used to it. I don't like it, but I'm used to it. I've been through a couple of these cycles. This is the first time he's been through it. So it's not a good feeling at all. Binance will stretch the deal with FTX as far as out in the future as possible until all the whales and their friends have cashed out. It's not a bad plan, but I don't think so because the repercussions may drag on for months, months upon months upon months. Leprechaun says, if I wasn't so poor right now, I'd be buying more SOL. The price of steel. Well, if you like low prices, get ready because SOL is going to, in my opinion, dump even more in 23 hours or 22 hours, however many hours, because there will be $330 million worth of it that will be unlocked with the new epoch. And do you think those guys are unlocking for the sake of just unlocking, or maybe they're unlocking because they want to dump? So think about that. But yeah, going down 32% in a single day, that's horrible. Going down 50% in a couple of days, horrible, right? But for Solana, I'm just warning you guys, I think when this epoch hits and you got 330 more million, but you know, here's the thing. Here's a good thing though. Now that I'm thinking about it, a lot of this 330 million could be on FTX. So even though it unlocks, people can't sell it and can't withdraw it. So maybe it's not as bad as it seems. But for all the ones unlocked that's outside of FTX, I have a feeling they're all going to be sold. China wants to buy El Salvador with debt, which would give them access to all that Bitcoin. I mean, whatever Bitcoin El Salvador has is not that much. I mean, Michael Saylor has way more than what El Salvador has, so I don't think that's a real concern. I have no doubt that a lot of the miners that still operate in China, they're forced to give Bitcoin to China. They're not oblivious to what's going on under their noses. So supposedly they kicked out everyone, right? But now it turns out they haven't kicked out everyone, you know. So I'm pretty sure China holds a ton of Bitcoin, and no one knows about it. They've been keeping it secret. All right, guys. I think that's pretty much it. You know, unfortunately, very bad day. Absolutely horrible. Armageddon, once again. We just got rolled back by 6 months. Back to May or June, right? And it's all due to FTX, all due to SBF right now. This whole situation absolutely sucks. But just remember, Bitcoin has been through it, has seen these type of situations before, okay? Just go back to May. We have seen this. We will get past it. Short term, it's going to suck, but long term, don't give up. Don't give up at all. And we'll see what happens with this as it develops. SBF deletes his tweets. I don't know. It's not going to do anything. People have screenshots of it. I guess we'll learn more as it develops. All right. I'll see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Enjoy. Take care. Bye-bye.